We don't need body clips. We're gonna run it. This is the Revo COVID-19 Survivor Edition, guys. Oh!
In a time of quarantine, you don't want to be wasting shock oil.
Full wheelie. Oh!
What's up, Nitro Gang? This is my very first Traxxas Revo. This particular one runs an OS 18TZ engine. And guess what? Surprisingly, this is the only Revo that doesn't have a lot of issues right now. So all my other ones need work. One of them has a transmission problem. One of them doesn't shift into second gear. So when all else fails, what do we do when you're in a New York City quarantine? Well, guys, I'm going to be eating some oatmeal. That's right, because we don't know when the next time I can get one of these is going to be. But in this video, I'm going to do some bashing. We're going to start this up. And I'm also going to be doing some maintenance on the factory shocks. I removed one of the shocks so far. So tell me if you see anything that's wrong here. Oh man, that's really hard to I can barely pull the piston out. Yep. So this is actually what's wrong. This is one of the rear inboard shocks. I'm going to be removing whatever disgusting oil is in there. We're going to refill it with some good oil. But let me just show you what a shock should actually look like. This is a standard shock from any of the, basic Traxxas models. Okay, so this is actually not the right one. That was a little editing error. Let me show you what an actual rebound on a normal shock should look like. Right now, the spring is on. You guys see that? It looks fairly normal. Let me remove the spring retainer at the bottom and the spring itself, and you'll see exactly what I'm going for. This is one of the shocks that I rebuilt. It's one of those cheap eBay ones from my Traxxas E-Max, which I bought recently from Letgo. But I had to do a lot of shock mods here. A lot of you guys ask me, hey, what's a good pair of cheap aluminum shocks I can buy? And let me tell you right now, this was not it. I had to remove many of the interior shims and actually drill them out. It was that bad. Either way, it is basically ideal now. This is the rebound I'm going for. This is, I think, 60 weight shock oil inside, but I had to do a lot of modifications to the seals inside. Surprisingly, many of the seals are actually plastic shims. They're not even rubber O-rings. Very weird. And, the bottom here, retainer can't be screwed in all the way because when you do that, it's just too much friction. It doesn't look like it's leaking, but only a test of time will tell. Either way, when you're talking about shocks, you want to see the actual piston rebound, I would say about halfway. That's a good indicator that your oil level inside the shock is perfect. My Traxxas Revo shock, oh man, I can barely press it. Oh, I can't even pull it out. If I use like a force meter to measure the amount of force I'm applying, I would say this is a good maybe 8 or 10 pounds. Pretty tight actually. Oh man. Okay, so I'm gonna open this up. But first, let me eat some oatmeal. Oatmeal, one of the best survival foods. All you need is water and a microwave or like a tea kettle, whatever you need. High in fiber, fairly high in protein. Tastes fine to me. I mean, who cares? This isn't no Chinese food, but the other day my Chinese place ran out of egg rolls. I actually went to go get some food, ran out of egg rolls. Could never run out of oatmeal. Great survival food. With the body removed, you can have a close look at the chassis, and I'll tell you now, the reason this Revo is fairly reliable is because it's missing the reverse. There is no Opti drive in mine, it is capped. It's also missing the entire electric easy start system. So this OS Max 18TZ motor has a pulse start. Really good system. I honestly don't know why a lot of these things don't come with pulse starts, to begin with, but a lot of them, obviously, these Traxxas models are meant for beginners getting into nitro. So, the electric easy start is a selling point, I guess some would say. I don't want to say that all the reverse systems on the Traxxas platforms are bad. They do work. I actually like them. But the Opti drive has always been a little bit troublesome. And the easy start system itself, if anything, yeah, it works. But of course, when you have a spare electric motor, extra wiring, all that really does is add weight. And weight for a Traxxas Revo, not ideal. These are small block engines. One of the only large, kind of monster trucks that still run small block motors. The OS motors are some of the best in the industry. And this particular one, I think when it was new, it was a little bit less than 200 bucks. I already bought this the way it is, so I don't even know how much it actually was. But in terms of spec, I would rate this a little bit better than the stock TRX 3.3. It doesn't make that much horsepower, but you know what? OS is very, very reliable. They run, they start, they don't destroy your glow plugs, and they're fairly fuel efficient. They don't overheat. Another very useful and functional upgrade, I don't even know if you can call this an upgrade or not, but it will be converting to a single steering servo. You guys see I have an open position here for a servo. I'm only running one. These models initially came with two. Now this is the older model. It wasn't the very good steering servos that they came with, but you really don't need two servos. The amount of drain from the included battery pack is insane when you're running two steering servos. You really just don't need it. Using one good one is okay. I'm running probably one of the cheapest Tower Pro MG995 servos. Now, this was purchased like probably 10 years ago in a bulk deal on eBay. So, you know, don't go out and buy these Tower Pro servos. Today, you can get much better ones on Banggood. You can get much better ones on Amazon for nearly the same prices. But for me, it does the job. I'm quite happy with it. You'll see during the drive, you won't notice any kind of steering issues. One of the things I like about these Traxxas Revo steering systems, and this also goes for the T-Max, they do not have basically any steering slop. I mean, I don't know how they managed to do such a good job. This, guys, you could barely even tell. I'm looking at the camera right now, and I'm wobbling the wheel. I can barely even tell if it's moving. This thing drives so straight, and this is the stock factory suspension. Steering wobble, one of the things that pissed me off. Quarantine, another thing that pisses me off. That's why we're gonna be getting this thing back up and running, and we're gonna get some nitro before I have to stay in the house. I've already removed one of the inboard shocks because I just wanted to investigate the condition of it. You know, the spring on the actual shock, you can't tell because as I move this wheel up and down, it seems fairly okay, but I do notice a whole bunch of resistance during the stroke, which, you know, is a good indicator that it needs to be rebuilt. The fronts seem okay. They are relatively good. I can tell they're okay. I'm probably not going to mess with the front shocks, but the rear shocks need to be repaired. I've ran this thing ever since I bought it with the original shock oil, so I've never done any kind of shock maintenance. But you know what? It's about that time. We got to prepare ourselves for the quarantine, and this is probably a great opportunity for all of us to do some of the work in a nitro hobby that is kind of tedious and boring. Let's get to it. To make this easier, I'm going to remove the pipe. It's a little bit dirty, so I'm probably just going to wash it in the sink as well. See, there's a whole bunch of this nitro grime in the bottom. I always like when my stuff is clean. Well, unfortunately, my exhaust gasket is ripped here. I'm not sure if I have another one. This is maybe why a lot of this is getting through the pipe, but that doesn't matter. We're here to do some shock work, and that's what we're going to do right now. So, I removed two screws already, one right here at the bottom on this rocker, and one at the top of the shock mount. This hasn't been taken apart in a while, so it's a little bit crunchy, some would say. Yep, there we go. It's out, and basically should just come out. The geometry here is a little bit tricky. There's a lot of these 90-degree right angles, and you need to basically just press stuff out like this. Yep, there we go. Shock is out. This one feels about the same. I can barely squeeze it. Oh, man. I guess the gyms being closed are no big deal. You could just use this to compress, you know? This is like weightlifting, RC style. Let's open up the shock. I have the golden spoon, you know, for some good luck. Bowl of oatmeal is empty. This is the Traxxas factory shock tool. Basically just goes on top of your shock cap like this. You know, you can use pliers, you could use whatever you want to remove this. It's no big deal. But guys, Traxxas made an actual shock tool for the Traxxas Revo shock. How nice is that? Okay, let's do this. Here you go, easy. No problems. These are self-bleeding, by the way, you could tell because there is a hole here on top. Okay. Man, it's a little gross in there. Inside the shock, it's not empty. Now, of course, it's nowhere close to the top, but a couple drops and it'd be fine. It is really hard to move the piston up and down. I'm not sure if this is like the shock oil. It may be the seals in the shock. So I'm just going to pour it out. Oh, man. It's full of dirt inside. Now, eventually, of course, dirt finds its way in through the piston here in the bottom. It's just a natural kind of thing. But I think I'm going to have to keep going. No, the piston is fine now. Yeah, the piston seems okay. You guys see that? Right after taking the oil out, the piston seems fine. I thought what happened was a lot of the seals here in the bottom eventually just tend to swell up, and then you need to basically replace them. But Traxxas doesn't play around when it comes to their shocks. They only mess around with shock caps on some of the cheaper models, but not this one. This one's not bad. The shocks are clean. Notice how smooth the piston actually moves in them right now. I'm having absolutely zero resistance. This is what you want to see, right? This one's basically the same. Pretty good. Now the stock shock oil, after I did some research, Traxxas doesn't really say what it is, and it isn't this, but it is 30 weight. I'm going to be using 35. Most people that I read their forums, most people said they use about 40 to 45 to 50. We're going to try 35 right now. Why? Because that's all I have. We have no choice. Okay. Here we go. Pour it in there. You just don't want to run out of it. But it seems like I have just enough for both. Okay. I'm going to put it in like that. Probably a couple more drops that could go on top, but you don't want that, because what's going to happen is when you put your shock cap on, and obviously there's self-bleeding shocks, it's just going to come out and make your shock completely dirty and messy. Which in this case, I probably still think some will come out through this hole right over here. But, you know, I don't expect it to be, yeah, you guys see already, I'm already screwing it in, and there's already some shock oil leaking out. That means I put in a couple too many drops. But it's no big deal. Just wipe it off. Alright, good. Now we'll use the stock Traxxas shock tool. And that's fine. My hand's a little oily. I can't grasp the shock body, so we're just going to use some pliers. That's good. You don't want to over tighten it. Time for the second shock. Man, these are some pretty big bore shocks. They take a lot of oil. Okay. Almost about the same. I messed up, but hopefully it'll be fine. Okay, now it's still coming out a little bit, but it's not the end of the world. In a time of quarantine, you don't want to be wasting shock oil. You see right here, a little bit of shock oil came out. So this is what's meant by self-bleeding. That means when you tighten the actual shock cap, a little bit of the oil will come out through this hole. The shocks are now fully assembled. They are still really tight, but that's because this spring is, you know, it's fairly thick. These are inboard shocks, so they don't have a lot of travel the way the geometry is set up. So if you try to squeeze it together like this, you know, it's gonna basically feel still like it's too tight. But I could tell you there is a load of difference. You guys see when I compress the shock? The way it travels up a little bit, it looks like, I don't want to say the word progressive, but you could clearly tell that it slows down at the top of the stroke. That's what you want to see. Let's get him back in the Revo. Alright, Nitro Gang, I'm wearing a new shirt. I ran into problems as usual when you're repairing any older Nitro. And the problem here, I think some of you, if you ever worked on a Revo, you would know. The problem is, it is almost impossible to get the shocks back in place without removing their entire shock mount here basically from the bottom of the chassis. It took me a while to figure that out, that I had to remove that, but you know what? I can easily get one shock in there, but to slide the second one into the shock mount, there just really isn't that much space. A lot of these parts are so like precision. If you've never worked on it, you would never really know. But there it is, guys. Let's go get this thing started. Revo's in action. I had to pick up a Domino's pizza, but I couldn't get inside. So I'm reading the sign on the door, and it says contactless carry out. Luckily, I had my GoPro. I recorded the whole thing. The guy literally unlocked the door to the Domino's franchise, you know, took my credit card, swiped it, and yeah, the price was right. I'm gonna look at the pizza in a second. I ordered this using their mobile app, so yeah, you could still get yourself a pizza. Then he handed me the pizza through the door, said, have a good day. I'm sitting in my car, you know, I'm about ready to go RC. I got my Traxxas Revo here in the back, but I was a little hungry. This is my favorite Domino's pizza. Yep, I'm gonna put my head in the box. It's a little cold, you know? So we got chicken, we got peppers. This was $8.70 including tax. Keep in mind, this video is being made a day before the complete quarantine of New York City. Now, of course, not, you know, for the essential employees. Considering I'm a non-essential employee, I'm lucky enough to be able to work from home and lucky enough to actually have a job. So there it is. Lucky for me. Let's eat some pizza now. We're living in some tough times, but you know, as long as I could still get myself a pizza, that's okay. I mean, contactless delivery. Never seen that before, but I've definitely seen pizzas. From my understanding of the new, I guess you can call it, quarantine conditions and, you know, just basic food shopping and stuff like that, you could still go to the grocery stores. You could still go to work if you have to. You just can't be chilling on the streets. Now, this is, yeah, it's definitely going to impact my RC activity. So I guess for the foreseeable future, we'll just do what we can. Don't worry, I have a bunch of videos that I, you know, recorded like a while ago. I never even edited. So, the Nitro Gang, we got some projects ahead of us. We have a whole bunch of old vintage Nitros, Team Associated TC3, OFNA CD3, HPI Nitro, RTR3. It's a lot of threes in that, man. After reciting all of these Nitros, I honestly just, did you notice the pattern? There's like a 3 in every single vintage Nitro that I have. That's kind of ironic. Like, are they trying to compete with the BMW 3 Series? What does the 3 actually refer to? Is there a 5? I don't know. Is there a 7? I don't know. This is kind of similar to like the way BMW names their cars, except for some reason, the 3 nomenclature was popular during the early 2000s. What was it with the 3s? If anything, they all had like 0.15, 0.18, 0.12 size engines. There was no 3 anywhere in the name. If anyone could come up with why everything had the number 3 for the vintage Nitro RCs, let me know. I'm curious. Let's start it up. I'm gonna prime it first. Gotta plug the exhaust. Hopefully it starts. Oh yeah.
Two-speed, baby, 2-speed. Oh, thing's scary. Oh.